Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 4v4 ladder match on the map, SYRTIS Assault. Let's go ahead and introduce our players. Starting in the northeastern section of the map, Team 1, the red team. Starting off on the northernmost section, we have Frukatoya going first land in Crimson as a Aeon. Next to them, we have Donnie Noob going first land as a Seraphim in yellow. Further south, we have Zaz Noba going first land as a Cybran in orange. I think that's orange. We'll call that orange. Last but not least, for Team 1, we have Penguin _ going first land in red as a UEF. So again, we have a UEF, a Cybran, a Seraphim, and an Aeon. All of the races represented, all the tools in the toolbox for them for Team 1. Down here for Team 2, the blue team, starting off on their northwestern player, we have Jagged Sauce going first land as a Seraphim in blue. Next to them, we have Dark Metal Rising going first land as a UEF in purple. Following suit, we have Biomutant 9000 going first land in teal as a UEF. And last but not least, for Team 1 in navy blue, we have Azuros going first land as a Cybran. So again, we have one Seraphim, one UEF, actually two UEF, and a Cybran. They are missing the Aeon tech, so no Galactic Colossus or Zars for them on Team 2. So go ahead and look at the reclaim for the map. Let's move that out of the way. We have a whole lot of reclaim around pretty much the major sections of these like edges, pretty much. So any like hill section that you see, pretty much a full load of just a bunch of mass. Again, I need to get that mod installed and get it working properly so you don't see a lot of like tens everywhere. And again, our players are pretty much going to try to fight for this center section of the map here. And again, we have some civilian instructions here. We also have a quantum gateway in the middle, as well as with T3 reactors and some shields. This might be a very good haul if someone's able to capture it, but most likely they're going to reclaim it and funnel that mass back into their coffers. Again, this is a ladder match. There is literally 1 point difference in rating here, as well as let me make this mini map. Sorry, excuse me, brain fart. Somebody commented on the last videos that the mini map was just a little too small, so I made it a little bigger. If it is too small still, I will make it even bigger and maybe even move it over here, or maybe even in the bottom left hand corner. Well, I guess the info for the item I'm hovering over, so maybe not the bottom left. Anyway, we have teching up going on. We also have a bomber out from the teal player, Biomutant, looking to get some early harassment down. Looks like going after those engineer. Oh, that poor engineer just got built. Oh, he's not going for those, going for that group of two. That's a better bag there. It's going to slow down the production of those P-gens. 3 more engineers get back there. They do a slow movement here to get another 2. That's 7. That bomber got 7 engineers. That definitely paid for itself there. We have the comm of Dark Metal towards the front, using the T1 lobos to take out the T1 PD. Again, T1 PD cannot target the T1 mobile artillery. The mobile artillery outrange them. We have a Snoop as well as some early units out on this southern lane. So we'll have top, mid, and then bottom. I guess top, mid, bottom, because there's avenues everywhere. We have a T2 upgrade going down for Azuros. That's very early. He's probably going for Cerberus Rush to secure this southern flank. We also have a planned intel radar kind of right around the corner. Probably should have put it a little bit back in this little corner here. But if you watched my last video, you'll know that intel should be one of your top priorities for eliminating. Targeting the anti-air I would probably go for a reclaim order. I think that does the same amount of damage, and you can auto get that reclaim quite easier. You don't have to sit there and reorder your comm to do something. You just hit reclaim, sucks up all of those hit points, then sucks up the mass, then moves to the next target. Again, we have a similar thing out from Donnie and Zen Nubo taking out that T1 PD so they can move in and start claiming the mass. And again, T1 PD very effective at damaging buildings. It does, obviously the higher tech ones take a little bit, but again, it's nothing to worry about for these players. We have a 2v1 comm scenario going down in the middle. That's not going to look good for Dark Meat, but we do have the Combobite Mutant in the back line for some support. Anything going on the northern section? Some build up for Team 1 from Sauce, but he's not pushing forward. He could be securing the middle section of this little canyon here. As you can see, it's obviously a little narrow. Get that mass point, take out these early units, those engineers going for reclaim. And for the south, we have Team 1, Penguin, pretty much doing exactly what I suggested, trying to hold the middle here so he can get a higher portion of the reclaim. We have the comm of Dark Meat being assaulted by the comms of Team 1, the Cybran comm of Fruk, and the comm of Donnie. He is starting to get a 2-1 scenario. It's starting to not look great for him. Not 2-1 scenario. It is a 2-1 scenario. We also have those T1 parties that Zooey spam. Dark Meat is already in the yellow. The comm of Zaz Nova in the red as well. But it's a 2-1 scenario. If he gets close enough, it'll be a trade. Down to 700, 800, and he goes down, and it's a trade in the middle of the map. If you're gonna die, and you're not gonna die, you might as well go for the trade and make it a 3v3, tying it up. And the comm of Donnie dropping into the red as well from both of those primary explosions. We have a bleeding going on here from Team 1, but the forces out from Team 2 are able to wrap that up. And it looks like they might actually go try to do a run by. I'd move all the way, avoid all of this over here and go this way, but looks like Penguin knows what's going on and is like, no, we're not going to have that today. None of that. Team 1 taking those ridges here. There's only a mass point on either side, and obviously, of course, some reclaim in the form of civilian buildings, but getting radar stations on either side, allowing for more coverage in the middle for flybys or any of the sort. We do have a push out from Sauce, very similar to what's going on in the south for Penguin. These Zooey are going to be able to take out those PD. There's another PD going to be primary. There's another one and another one, 3 PD on the cards for Team 1, helping to fend off this assault. There's a lot of tanks in here. There's some Zooey, but they're mainly tanks, these Thams, and they eradicate all of those engineers before they can get those PD online. That comm of Fruk, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it all the time, is starting to lose hit points quickly, dropping into the yellow, getting to about 4,700. Gets primaried once again by the comm of Sauce. We have just some interceptors overhead. I would like to see some bombers with maybe a gunship if that T2 has been completed to help fend off. And the comm of Team 1, the Crimson comm, does retreat. Takes out that engineer. Is like, no PD for you. Again, is going to bag a T2 mech. So overall, I'd say that is a good engage for Team 2. Get some reclaim. Move your engineers up, take their reclaim, and then pull back. However, looks like Penguin has had to fall back. Firebase has been established down here in this little valley, but unfortunately there's that, there's that little ridge right there, kind of preventing a lot of attacking from this lower side. So that's kind of like a decent, just like cut in the environment. units out from Penguin posturing here, preventing any sort of run-bys. We do have a Lobo. He has a 5. That's a 5-star Lobo. He's killed almost 1,000 mass. Good job on that Lobo. Then he's going to go and try to deal some damage and might get another Lobo. Yep, kills a Lobo. Wouldn't be surprised to see some Mantis just go like, I'm just going to not let that happen. Comm of Biomutant securing the middle. Pretty much Team 2 is pretty much in a... We have the middle, besides this part. And this would be the time to build up, build defenses up, build up your eco. Same with Team 1. The only way you're going to push through is with getting those higher tech units, getting those, getting those pillars, getting those Eelshis, getting those, what are they for, UEF again? Where's the UEF unit? On Aurora, that's, I forget what the call. Answer down, I'll look it up eventually when the T2 unit's on the field. I'm still trying to remember all of the different types of units and all the names that I can actually pronounce. Shield on the way for the Aeon Comm, the Crimson Aeon Comm. Gonna get those hit points, those temporary hit points up and running. We do have poking of the Hornet's Nest here from him as well. Some units trying to engage, but there is a higher amount of units out from Sauce, and again, less stuff. Most of the time does not beat more stuff. There are a radar installation as well as an Oblivion turret. It's, again, kind of positioned not super great because it's shooting uphill. It doesn't arc its shots super well. It should have been placed probably about, like, pretty much where the Oblivion one is here, like right below the edge, just enough to shoot over it. But it is able to hit over it just enough to target these units. But again, when they get closer, the arc changes and it's harder to hit. We have some gunships out from the Crimson Aeon Comm as well. Would like to see that there is a little bit of anti-air, but there's not a whole lot. And it's going to be able to dissuade a lot of these T1 units. Should be seeing T2 units on the field at some point here. Yep, T2 land factory has been secured, been achieved, and starting to go for those engineers. Let's take a look at ecos for a second. Team 2 is surprisingly winning. They are winning at only about 20 or so mass. They have more of the mass points. They should be winning the mass game by a little bit more, you would think, but they're prioritizing probably more defenses than eco. However, Team 1, not far away, about 25 mass roughly, about, between 15 and 25 mass, and total mass accrued is only about like 8 to 10,000. It's not a whole lot. So pretty much everyone's in the mass game so far. There's not like a 1 million or 500,000 mass difference. We have a T3 strategic bomber out from the yellow player of Donnie, though, going straight for, I would go for the mass points, start wreaking havoc on those. Oh, that'd be a great target right there. Go for those engineers on that upgrade. It just went to T3. Oh, they didn't go for that. They went for the mass point for the factory. Takes out a decent amount of build power, takes some hit points off of that fusion reactor, and gets so 1, and then it dies. If we look at the mass, it's already been scooped up. Never mind. It drops 1,600, and I don't think it drops 1,600 for that. I think it drops less. So not great. Had he got another one, it probably would have been worth it. But these triads having an argument with the cliff over here. We have this one arguing with this one, and we have this triad being upset with the one over here. So both of these cliffs causing some targeting issues for Team 2. We have the Combo Penguin leading the charge with his UEF comm, as well as some parashields. Very good. Provides some temporary hit points as well. We have some pillars in tow as well. I guess those are for the UEF. I'm trying to think of what they are for the Aeon. We did have, I think that was a loyalist. So T3 has been achieved. T3 has been achieved. And he's going to just spear right on through. There are a couple loyalists again in the mix. The comm does have some upgrades on it, but again, not a whole lot. Would like to see maybe a shield upgrade, maybe T2, just something to give it more hit points and more survivability here. But there are Titans in the mix as well, helping to reinforce the comm. We have T3 underway for Biomutant, starting to establish a backline defense. Kind of posturing here, going here, but a lot of these forces group them back up and going to set the charge. These Titans, these shields provide a lot of temporary hit points, as well as these parashields. So again, the comm of Penguin using temporary hit points as a way to stave off a lot of damage, and it does a decent amount of work, taking on a lot of these loyalists and these the other T3 units. Gets underneath the shield. It's a very good move, going for that secure damage. Comm of Penguin all the way to the enemy base, super far forward. A couple strap bombers come in, and that guy is not making it home. Going after that fusion reactor, that's a very good move. Going after that volatile explosion, and then all they got to do is just target the other one, which is about dead as well. Takes out those engineers, takes out one of the air factories, and all they have to do is do a little more damage to that air factory at HQ, and T3 air has been locked out for the Aeon, UEF player, excuse me, Biomutant. Biomutant in full retreat. His compatriot on the southeastern side of Zeros, building up some PD to help stave off that enemy aggression, but he's just going to keep going. Penguin's just going to go full bore, just go straight in it, just like a spear. Just cut any and all of that stuff out. Could have gone for the comm of Biomutant, but going to go after the economic damage. We also have some Percivals in the backline. They've surrounded the comm of Penguin. We have about 5 of them. That is probably enough to kill Penguin. Unless he gets some reprieve, dropping down to about 5,000 hit points. 37, 22, under 1,000. One more shot will kill him. Boom. That is a kill for Team 2, making it a 3v2 with the advantage in players going to Team 2. Penguin probably should have pulled back a little bit sooner. Biomutant was able to respond with his T3 units and come in and just demolish him. Unfortunate, but a lot of economic damage was done, and now Team 1 is severely leading the eco game by pretty much about 100 mass per ticks. Sorry. Wait. Hold on. Did I read that wrong? Huh. I thought... Or maybe that's reclaim related. I swear that was a different number a second ago. Anyway, but Team 2 still leading the total mass accrued as well by about 30 or so K. Again, that gap again starting to widen as we see Donnie inheriting the rest of this eastern side. So he's probably gonna focus on going down the middle as well as the southern side, leaving the Crimson Aeon player to go for this northern valley side. Some PD in the back line, a defensible position up for Sauce as well, making sure he has something to fall back to. But his combo's all the way back at base anyways, so nothing super to worry about. We have some restorers on the field for the Aeon player. Very effective, does anti-air damage as well as anti-ground damage. Say anti-ground, it says air damage and ground damage. We have some Skyboxers in the mix. These T2 Flak, again, primarily focused on dealing with gunships. And they're going to stave off that attack. But if that restore ball gets bigger and bigger, it's going to be bad news for Team 2. And yeah, you're going to have you're going to have a whole bunch of restorers. There's a whole bunch of ASF, but you have a decent amount of restorers. Those ASF are just going to crumble. You might win, but you're going to lose a lot of ASFs. Looks like we have attack missile launcher out, going for some resourcing options. We do have a TMD, and those missiles do split. One makes it by. That's not enough to deal a lot of damage, unfortunately, and it impacts the ground, and it doesn't even matter. They do get a kill on this triad. Splits taking out a... I think that was a... Is that an engineer? No, that was an engineer. Just a stationary engineer. Some action, some skirmishes going down here in this southern upper valley side. These Percivals fighting other Percivals. These UEF on UEF treason going on here in this southern section of the map. Let's get a nice cinematic shot of that. Still getting used to having this mic bar, the mic pretty much in front of my face, not in front of my face, but just below the screen in terms of my views, I was gonna say skyline, but not skyline, view line. It's different. I'm still getting used to it, so I do apologize if I like kind of lean over for a second to check my keyboard so I know what buttons I'm pushing. But the units out from Zeros making their way in to the forward production line of Donnie Noob, and then being like, nah, it's probably not a good idea, decides to go back, keep ASFs near gunships. It's a very good move. It allows your ASFs, again, to protect your gunships, and especially if they're restorers and ASFs come to attack your ASFs, those restorers can help stave off a decent amount of that incoming damage. Strat bombers being built up here in the back line for Team 1, for Donnie New, maybe going for an assassination, or if there is an experimental on the field dealing massive damage to it as well. Again, that small little band of T3 forces, those bricks and a Percival, well, it was a Titan, then it died. The Cybran and UEF technologies combining together, these units are going to die, however, to all of these restorers. They're going to try to make it back home. That parashield running out of shield and then goes underneath. The shield goes under over the top of a PD and dies. Maybe they'll make one survivor from that expeditionary force will make it to the shield, but there is a decent size attack battalion of these Ilshis coming in. This brick will do a decent amount of damage, but these Ilshis will get underneath the shield, take out the shield, and deal with the rest of the PD. ASF's posturing overhead as well. Surprised I don't see any gunships being built for Team 2. And back to the Ecos. Team 2 leading the Eco game. That margin, the gap between them in terms of total reclaim accrued starting to widen. Pretty much about the same rate, a little bit. It's kind of contracting, and it just depends on what's going on, how much reclaim they're getting and all of that. But spy planes being deterred, would like to see them kind of, swung around on these edges. There's not a lot of anti-air emplacements along these edges, so you can easily get a full sensor sweep of what's going on the other side. We have these Percivals moving forward, attacking this forward operating base salvage yard for Azeros, and there are some bouncers in and bricks as well to help support that side. We have that roaming band of Ilshis pushed through towards this middle split fork section and is being chased by the teal units out from Biomutant. Those missile launchers kind of not being super effective because there are TMD in place. They are starting to overwhelm the defenses, but with each death of a missile launcher, it's less and less the case. And the alpha damage out from these Percivals, pretty much one-shotting all those missile launchers, as well as more coming in. It's just a pincer maneuver here. They're going to plug that hole, making sure there's no more incoming units. Looks like there was a potential run-by, but a wall as well as a bunch of restorers prevent it and decide, nah, it's probably not a good idea. Again, posturing here in this northern section, not a whole lot of action. A little back and forth, but again, it's kind of just hanging out pretty much. A lot of the action is occurring in this middle section. The calm of Sauce in the open. The pings are going down. Furious pings are like, go, go, go. You gotta go. You gotta go. Go get him. Go get it. And they could easily divert those restorers to kill the calm of Sauce, making it an even 2v2. But the Strat Bombers, again, do the job for the restorers, and that is a kill for Team 1, making it a tie game of 2v2 with the Zeros and Biomutant for Team 2 and the Crimson Aeon Com, because it's really hard to say his name, and Donnie Noob for Team 1. All of those Strat Bombers were, I think pretty much every one of those Strat Bombers, maybe bar a couple, were able to make it out and prep for another bombing run. Would like to see, again, some resourcing options being targeted, maybe going after if there's a SMD Yep, there's an SMD there, and probably an SMD somewhere. You would think it'd be over here somewhere. At this stage, pretty much the bases of both players, if you're playing in a certain, depending on your playstyle, kind of just merge, and kind of just, you kind of see like a, not an Oreo, in this case it's an Oreo, but in other cases just a split down the middle, kind of like how it is over here, but a lot of the infrastructure tries to, like, starts to merge, the shields start overlapping. Usually that's for T3 artillery and whatnot. We do have an attack coming here. Percival's on the southern side, facing off against these bricks. They're mortal enemies. That alpha damage, again, dealing lots and lots of damage. T1 bombers being spammed up. Let's get a little more cinematic shot of this with the little unit tags disabled. We have more forces coming in from that northern ridge. We see those Percivals in this distance coming to support the units over here. Those are the Team 2's units, however. They are kind of slow walking. I think they move a little bit faster than bricks, but again, they do have a decent range on them as well. That right arm, that large cannon dealing all of the damage out from those Percivals. And again, you can see the power PD as well as those bricks. Those Percivals should start moving up together. Unfortunately, they are going to get pincered here. There are more forces coming in the back line to help support. Ooh, a large volley out from those Percivals. Some of those miss. Again, the rounds are simulated, so if they're not a direct fire weapon, they have the chance to miss. As you can see, not all of them hit. Trying to dodge. The little legs can only move so much and so fast, but looks like that is not going to be a successful attack, and pretty much a mass dump from Team 1. That'll be a nice little gift on their doorstep. Let's get the icons and everything back up and running so we know what's going on. Again, more Titans and Percivals on the scene. They are pretty much hitting the ground here, but these Titans move in. Very good move. Take out the PD, and the Percivals come in to deal the rest of the damage. The Titans are going to tank as per the job of a Titan in the Destiny games. Again, more bricks come into support, but they are badly wounded, and this little fire base here on the ridge is going to fall. Team 1 is starting to claim a decent section of this southern portion of the map. Team 1 now operating probably on, I'd say, 40% would be pretty conservative. They were operating at about 60%, but they have since fallen behind in the land conquering game. Again, map control does sway a lot in these games, and sometimes having too much map control actually might be a deterrent. Not a deterrent, a downside, because you have so much area to manage. It's really easy for the other team to just pick stuff apart. A huge amount of PD under that shield dissuades this group of Percivals from coming in, and they are denying the reclaim for Team 2. So getting some engineers, and they are starting to move on the front line, getting them further up here, getting all this reclaim. I mean, you have thousands, like, you have a lot of mass here. I don't know why it's combining. It's so weird. I have that mod installed. This is not working right now. Again, I do apologize. I will look into that later on today after I cast this game, because I'm trying to improve myself with every cast, and some things break. Some days some things break, and some days they don't break, and gonna figure out how to make it work every single time is definitely the my plan for future games. We have a decent swath of Percivals guarding this central approach. We have these Zooies coming in, distracting a lot of these Percivals. They're not moving though, they're just holding position. But again, we have pretty much a huge section of a huge column of Zooies coming forward. We have T1 production in full swing here on the front lines for Team 1, just spamming out those secondary units to help support the front lines and distract. We have a huge section, huge column of those Percivals moving in, taking center stage, going after that experimental that is currently being built, that fat boy. They can see it. They want blood. They can sense it in the water. There is the calm of Biomutant in the distance helping build that fat boy, and he's thinking, it's not going to go well. That's a lot of Percivals and some Titans in there as well. Titans do kind of hide. They're a little shorter than those Percival's. All that alpha damage coming out from those Percival's is not looking good. The Comma Bioman, he's dropping down into the yellow. A couple more volleys from those Percival's will kill him. He needs to back up. Oh, and that last one is able to get a headshot and kill the Comm of Bioman, leaving Azuros alone against the enemy, at least his enemy team of Team 1. Those Percival's continue to move in. More reinforcements come in. As the reinforcements from Biomutant come in, they pause because control transfers over. That crucial pause allowing these Percival's to come in, dealing a lot of damage to this UEF air grid, taking out fusion generators, taking out factories, taking out any and all infrastructure they can. Those Percival's are going to be enough to pretty much dissuade a lot of the Percival's coming out from Team 1, these yellow Percival's, but they will be doing enough damage, and a lot of this air grid is going to go down. I think all of it. Pretty much they have the HQ. That's a very good bag. That's the second time that HQ has gone down. Fortunately for Team 2, these Percival's are streaming in pretty much one by one, and all of the other Percival's from Team 2's are streaming in one by one. Team 1 are holding position in Team 2's base. We have some bricks out helping to support, and again, a lot of damage going down. Looks like we have these Titans as well, dealing a lot of damage. That ASF is being targeted by those Titans. That must not feel good. And the rest of these Percival's are going to go down for Team 1. But they did their job. They dealt a lot of infrastructure damage. They killed the Comm. They're distracting. The remaining player on Team 2 has to focus more and more APM on these band of units, allowing Team 1 to build up other things. And again, those Percival's just dealing more and more damage. They're one of the best units, T3 assault bots in the game, again, my opinion. They don't have a shield, but what they make up for is that alpha damage. And when those rounds go off, ooh, it hurts. They're going to get another T3 mechs, T1 bombers overhead, and a lot of that momentum out from Team 1 starting to dissipate, especially with just Zoomies being strung in. We do have an experimental build. It is a chicken bot that will pretty much probably be sent to the middle to stem the bleeding here. It's kind of surprised that the Crimson Aeon player didn't send out his forces, but again, as you can see, a counterattack has been underway for Azuros here in the north, but all these restorers say, nah, nope, that's not going to work. And there are a couple more Percival's in the mix, but these T1 bombers and T2PD are going to mop up the rest of them. Not before dealing more and more damage to the infrastructure, taking out another section of PGens. I mean, they're T1, it's not the end of the world at this rate. But a T3 mech goes offline, another T3 mech goes offline. We have some Lobos. We have, I guess, oh no, those are Lobos, excuse me. I see yellow and I think of Cybern or something, but they're not. Comms of both players on Team 1 pretty relatively in the same area. Air grids for both players in full production. And again, lots of mass being thrown at Team 2. They can get a good head on the reclaim. That's going to be very good for them, but a lot of those engineers out from Team 1 making that very apparent that no, this is our reclaim. The units we threw at you, yeah, that's our mass. Sorry. There is some comms in chat. Azuros comm has no SMD at the moment. So a nuke could be on the cards, taking out the rest of Team 2's comms, which is only Azuros. He has a T2, he has engineering suite. He has, I think it's stealth. Yeah, personal stealth. So he's not going to be super noticeable, but again, they could easily find his comm with some spy planes. Titans coming in, and again, just constantly sending more and more units. And it's just, Azuros is bleeding. He has all of these things to manage. He has a giant hole in his defenses. He has units coming on his northern side. That restore ball to worry about. His ASFs target the restorers as well, and the chicken does go down pretty much to those restorers. I apologize for missing it. Restorers group up, and the rest of those ASFs are dismantled, leaving Team 1 in full control of the air with how many restorers are left? 14. Not bad. That's a pretty good wing. And just more and more economic damage happening against Team 2. And that's very good to see. That's definitely a departure from the last game that I casted, which there was hardly any aggression. And this game is just all aggression all the time. We have some awesome siege tanks on the front line taking out a lot of these Zooies. And a lot of those shots from those siege tanks not hitting because they are arguing with that cliff. I mean, there are some units up here, but a lot of those shots missing. So again, being mindful of the terrain. I enjoy the Percy raids. Yes, the Percy raids are definitely making a huge impact for Team 1. Again, I'd say at 34-minute mark to play of the game, which is sending all of those Percys in, getting a comm kill, getting a huge air factory production line dismantled, Team 1 PD being spammed up, and again these Percivals are starting to wither and die, but just all of the damage. Look at it. Look at how many mass points. Look at how much mass and reclaim is that. Look at all that mass. And there's starting to send out some bricks to take out these factories, which are really close to the front line. Like that's really close. It is with 10 by 10, so it's not, again, the biggest map or the smallest map, but that's pretty close to the main base of Team 2. Looks like Azuros has decided that this is the hole he is going to plug first. These series being strewn in one by one. There are some chariots with some engineers on board coming to the front line, most likely going after the mass and the mass left behind by that chicken bot. Again, that's 18,000 mass that they can shovel into their coffers and produce a whole bunch of other things. Now, Donnie going into the gunship game, he getting some Volthus, the T2, taking out these bricks here. T1 bombers just trying to stem the bleeding. Percival is stacking up here in the middle. We have another assault on the cards. We have some more Titans here, which again, and some bricks as well. Again, Titans, they are rapid firing, but they don't do a whole lot of damage compared to the Percivals, at least at one time. And man, the Percivals, definitely the unit of the game here. And I mean, they are doing lots of damage, lots of things against Team 2, and Team 1 is just going to continue spamming them up, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, you know, why not, right? There are, again, more and more production being focused down for Team 2. Oh, that has to be reclaim related. No, that's no way that's generated. I don't feel like those numbers are right. That's total accrued. I don't. Yeah, that's mass income. That can't be right. Is he power locked? Oh, he's power locked. Okay, I was like, why? He should not have that so little mass. But they are. Oh, they are really power locked. Look at that, 34,000. That's a lot. So yeah, one thing to note about FAP is that if you don't have enough power to supply your mass extractors, it reduces their effectiveness, pretty much dropping them down to low numbers, and you got to get that under control. Looks like they pretty much did. We can check back up. Kind of, sort of. They're starting to fix it, but it's not as bad as it once was. You see it flickering back and forth, but so power situations for Team 1 they are struggling with. It does look like a nuke went off and took out a huge section, or it couldn't even been that Oswasher. I must have missed it. Just went straight in for that air grid. I do apologize for missing those Percivals, man. They're just doing lots and lots of things. It looks like Team 2, I guess the Zeros at this point, is stemmed the bleeding for the most part and is starting to establish a defensive perimeter. We have another invasion from Azuros as well, trying to break the lines of Team 1 here in the north. We have all these restorers out. Again, you need that T3 anti-air units. That's the only way that you're gonna just dissuade all of these restorers. Because yeah, they don't do a lot of damage per shot, but you get a lot of them together, won't matter. There is a salvation online in the back line for Team 1. They went artillery. That's what the heck they were using all that power for, was building that artillery installation. And that thing is going to rain fire down from the heavens, going after the power grids. They're getting an ice washer under construction as well. Again, power, production. Get these mass extractors back up and running. So lots and lots of damage on both players' bases. Again, that tore a huge hole in the ASF production. There's still an air grid, but that's mainly focused on restorers, not necessarily ASF. These ground units out from Team 2, Azuros, getting almost all the way to that salvation. But between the shields, the PD, the restorers, the comm, I mean, they can get there, but they're not making it that far. So, but they were able to punch a hole all the way through. Look at all that infrastructure, all that defensive line gone. But again, that salvation is going to be a problem. Azuros is not under shielding, and if Team 1 knew about it, they would target Azuros. Looks like that Swatcher has been completed. That rapid fire going after the T3 production factories, taking out all those UEF factories, making sure the enemy does not get any Perseus to help defend. We have another invasion from Azuros as well, going after the frontline production yards, but these Volthu gunships are going to just tear through all of those T3 units. Looks like he does get some shielding up and running just in time. Looks like they noticed where he is and is like, no, that's, we're just going to end the game right here and now. But needs to get more shielding up. It's going to fall, and it does take out a ion reactor. Another one's about to fall. Takes out another shield. Azuros down into the yellow. And he's like, no, this isn't worth it. I gotta leave. Maybe he'll back up a little bit and build. It's lost, my friend. What happened? Oh, it looks like, again, we keep missing stuff. Do apologize. The ice washer from Azuros just pretty much crash landing into that salvation. That's a lot of mass. 147,000 and 16,000. So that's enough mass to pretty much almost completely repair that. I don't know how much mass does a salvation cost. Oh, that's the wrong comp. Let's see. Does he have T3 tech? He does not. That's not helpful. Apologies for that. Trying to see how much it costs, but his comm does not have the T3 engineering suite. He has guns, and lots of guns, which, to be fair, is probably Bob Meeting to all just surrender, talking to Team 1. And it's pretty much Team 1 gets an advantage. Azuros comes in and goes, nah, takes it out, takes out the air grid. The RASFs again still built up. So Team 1 pretty much still has air control, given the fact that pretty much 2 large mass fields have now been produced. Lightning tanks in the main base. Looks like these Optim siege tanks are going after the comm. They're like, this is, no, I'm not having this. The Galactic Colossus under construction pretty much just started and then stopped. These, I don't know why these siege tanks aren't prioritized. Oh, there they go. Now I say it. As I say it, it happens. Siege tanks walking, or I guess driving, next to the comm. The comm still has his shield. Crimson Aeon comm still active. But a lot of these Optim siege tanks are going to fall. And he doesn't have anything to worry about. Still has full hit points and a little bit of shield, which will start repping back up. But Azuros making more and more inroads in, getting further and further in multiple times. Looks like with that distracting, he's able to move with a combined UEF and Cybern push and a couple Optims. So, you know, all the tech being represented here on Team 2. Pushing out, taking out these T1 factories. These restorers coming in overhead. Again, that lightning from that restorer, he gets a rank and vet right there, so he gets some hit points back. But multiple lightning strikes from those lightning tanks and doesn't take out a restorer. So those things are heavy in terms of hit points. Like they're super beefy. And that's why it's dangerous to get a bunch of them together, because they can tank a lot of hits. Another ice washer under construction, pretty close to being in the green. So I'd say about 70% or so. Doing quick mac and there. Never mind, it's in the green. Every time I say something, it like happens like 2 seconds later. So if I waited 2 more seconds, it'd be fine. Anyway, more restorers again being used as defense units out here, preventing any of these pushes out from Azeros. These are T3 tech bots, so they do have a lot of hit points, but I mean, after a while, 1,000 cuts will kill you at some point anyways. So, and even more gunships on the field. Again, Azeros, some more anti-air. I get it. You're just trying to push through, take out any infrastructure. But at this point, Team 1 is leading you by like 400 mass generated a second. And now Team 1 has finally pulled ahead in the total mass generated or reclaimed or gathered or accumulated by about 50,000 mass. The Asswasher has finished going over the top of all of these Perseus and Titans. It's going to be bomb drops out of that little compartment. Takes out a huge portion of that army. More Perseus come in to continue the assault forward, and that Asswasher going to turn around. It has been primary. Well, the ASFs are like, nah, we'll just wait. We'll wait over here. Asswasher going into the corner. We'll have to see what's going on with that. More power grids being under constructed. And again, they don't have any of that artillery to deal with. Which, if that artillery had stayed online, that would have been game. And for Team 1, that would have secured them the win. But unfortunately, the Asswasher that's still there is just, you know, hanging out. But the Knights of the Round Table kneeling in the back the back line over here. Let's get a nice shot of that. Why not? Like, look at this. Like, look at these knights. They're just kneeling, preparing for battle. You would think that they would just build an artillery again and call it good, but apparently not. Look at that. Look at them just kneeling. Oh, sorry about that. Trying to turn the there's more of them over there. They're just there were five Colossus. That one's about ready to stand up. I do like this animation that they do, that as it gets closer to being built, it's like they pretty much stand up. It's a really cool mechanic that they built into the game, and that's a nice nice stylistic approach to it. It just makes it pretty. Again, we have another attack out from this northern section from Azeros, trying to puncture more and more holes into that defensive line. We have a huge ball of restorers. What are we at now? We are at 10 bingo on fluid and 18, so we're about 30 restorers. That is a decent amount to be said, and we do have some bricks moving in to take out, again, more of those Team 1 factories. More forces grouping up in the middle to prevent any attacks from the center. And we have another Asswasher coming in over top. Looks like it's primary the Calm of Dom. That bomb drops, comes out of that compartment in the bottom, and that's a direct hit on the Calm, and that's a kill for Team 2. And the Asswasher goes down and go. Oh, it was so close to taking out that factory, that HQ. But that is a kill for Team 2, and now it is the Crimson Aeon Calm versus Azeros. Outplayed. Now it's a 1v1. Everything's tied up. A decent amount of that infrastructure, that mass generated, was diminished. And the eco game, Team 1 is still winning the eco game by about 500. 50 mass generated a second, about 60 now. And about 120,000 mass. So, I mean, nothing to scoff at, but again, losing another player, that's a huge, huge loss. Again, suck up all that reclaim. Use it to funnel it for all of those Galactic Colossus you have being built. Which, where did that first one go? We saw it walk off. Oh, I don't... Oh, it's over here. Already deploying it to the front lines. That thing moving in, using its vacuum hands to suck up any ground units that dare cross its path. We have a radar installation that's going to get blapped. Is that radar? Yeah, radar. He's just going to walk over it. He's just not even going to care. Just just completely ignore it. Okay, that works too. We have a chicken bot as well, but that face laser out from that Galactic Colossus is going to deal more and more damage. And now it is truly a red team versus blue team scenario here for this match. We're at the 47-minute mark. This Galactic Colossus is trying to get all up close and personal with this chicken. Pretty much throw off its targeting sensors. And the Galactic Colossus goes, oh wait, hold on, I went too far. Trains its face laser back on the back on the chicken. Chicken falling below 10,000 hit points. Galactic Colossus still over, but it's just under 20,000. And that chicken bot is going to go down. Does that Ion Storm go off quick enough to target the Colossus? Gets a couple hits in, but that was it. That's a good move. If you notice, that got in behind where you wanted to go and keep moving to avoid that Ion Storm. That was a great play out from the Crimson Aeon player. And again, I do apologize for saying Crimson Aeon player. It's just that is easier for me to say than his actual name. So I do apologize if some of you think I should be saying his name. And I should be. But again, it is kind of hard to say his name at times. And charging in all of those Peony being spammed up, trying to dissuade this Galactic Colossus. The shield is about to fall, at least the first one at least. But it doesn't look like the Colossus is going to get anywhere. Does it get that T3 generate? It does. Takes out that shield, and that is it. So that's pretty much a mass dump besides killing that chicken. Anti-air being spammed up for Zeros now. Trying to take out all of those gunships. Looks like there is a Tsar under construction in the backyard. Another Colossus has been constructed. Again, we still have 2 of them. 3 of them still under construction. We have a string of fervors, those T1 mobile artillery from the Aeons, just constantly putting pressure on that northern side. The southern side pretty much ignored now by both players. They're just like, nah, it's too much work. But there is a lowly Titan over here, just kind of hanging out from that T3 land factory over there, just going all the way to the pretty much front line of Team 2 Azeros. We have this, again, Percy's being used en masse this game. So many Percys. I know it'd be hard, but somebody should do a count of how many Percys died in this match. It probably is in the, like, at least couple hundreds. I wouldn't say 1,000, I think that's too many. But at least a couple hundred. At minimum. Maybe 500, but that's very generous. 500 Percy deaths this match. And they're just making their way along this little edge, taking everything out. They're flanked by a Colossus going around the other side. And there goes that suction arms, just taking that Percy. Goodbye! Blaps it and then throws it back. And the fall damage kills it pretty much. The Percy's like, run! He got me! No! He got me! Run! We have some T1 bombers being spammed up. A bunch of experimental units being built in the back line. We have 1 Galactic Colossus, and that Tsar also finishes. So experimentals being spammed up. We have a strategic missile launcher here in the wreckage of Biomutant's base. And that face laser of that Colossus doing work against all of those defenses. There's an I think that's an Omni out from Azeros. That'd be a good target to take out. It's funny, as that laser tries to target one of those T3 units, it just gets sucked up. Taking out some SAMs, taking out infrastructure would probably focus on the PD, since that's doing the damage to the Galactic Colossus more. I mean, it still has a lot of hit points. But again, a death by 1,000 cuts is still a death by 1,000 cuts. Tsar coming in overhead, the shields being blapped away, and the hit points of that Tsar falling faster and faster. Will the crash damage take out the SML, the Strategic Missile Launcher? It does. It destroys the nuke. That's very unfortunate for Azeros. We have another Galactic Colossus coming in on the front line. We also have a bomber out. Aswasher is going to land on the comm of the Crimson Empire. He's still alive somehow. Those shields can blap away a decent amount of damage. But then it looks like that Aswasher was destroyed. That was super close for the Crimson Aeon commander, but he was able to blap it away. There's like 300,000 reclaim in this big state. Yeah, there's so much mass. The string of SAMs is being annihilated. Where is the comm of Azeros? He's in here in his Cybran base. He has the stealth upgrade. R is not Azeros's. Oh wow, they have 300,000 in his base. That's nuts. And again, Percy's just pushing through. That spear just being used to stab into the heart of the enemy base. This would be a good bag for those Percy's to target, take out the T3 air headquarters if they can get it. Again, one of the downsides to Percy's is that they can only fire at one target at a time. So T1 not engineers. T1 engineers are kind of a huge distraction, as well as like T1 tanks or artillery or anything like that. Brick comes online as the factory it was being built by gets destroyed. Again, this is, I mean, it's a lot of APM to manage. We have some strat bombers in overhead as well. And we have more and more restorers on the field, just coming in and just destroying everything in their path. Chicken arm being constructed as well. That stopped going for those SAMs. And again, putting them next to power generators is probably not the best idea. And more restorers floating in. We do have a chicken online. We have more Percy's on the front line. Some shields over there. Team 2, I keep saying Team 2. Azeros is just being hemmed in. 2 more Galactic Colossus en route to just annihilate everything. Those engineers cannot spam those SAMs up fast enough. They are taking out a decent amount of those restorers and are able to dissuade them. But again, those Galactic Colossus, it's not going to matter. We have some Ravagers online next to that Zarek, just shooting at anything and everything they can. We have a Novax satellite that's been constructed, just shooting at all of those unprotected structures, whether they be mass extractors, whether they be pigeons, just anything they can get their hands on, or that lasers on. Again, T1 bombers, I mean, en masse they do a lot of damage, but again, just little by little, the death by 1,000 cuts is not going to save your base, unfortunately, unless you had just an infinite amount of defenses. All these engineers, they should be building up TDPD, but it just might be too late. The writing's kind of on the wall. All Azeros is being hemmed into a corner. We have that Titan out, just preventing any future reclaim options or building options from him as well. He's operating now at about 30%, give or take. I mean, it looks like 25%, but let's give him a little bit more. It's just a nice round number of 30. 3 Colossus online. That chicken does go down next to pigeons. That's not the best place for that chicken to go down. Doesn't matter, the pigeons are gone anyway. T1 PD just trying to do anything and everything they can to stop these Colossus. The the Crimson Aeon Commander just sending everything southward, just reducing the sphere of influence. Azuris going for that laser upgrade, seeing if he can do any and all things to defend against the onslaught from the Crimson Aeon Commander. But that satellite does see him, and his engineering assistants have to spam up shields. Once that recharges, that will target the shields. Does get a shield online, but he doesn't have the power. Oh no, he does have the power. Why isn't that? That's weird. Why doesn't that shield come online? That's really weird. That should be online. What the heck? That's really weird. Huh. I don't know why that's not online. That's really weird. Answer down in the comments why that shield didn't come online. And the comm of Azeros just being zapped by that space laser. I wonder if the splash from those PDs will kill you. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I don't. Yeah, it's just really weird that teleporter now into construction. That's not going to finish. He's trying a desperate way to attack the comm of Furukodya. Again, it's really hard for me to pronounce that. He just doesn't have any resources at his disposal to do a whole lot. Oh, there it goes. Now he's stalling mass. It just wasn't showing it earlier. And there is a death by the Novax. Thank you so much for watching. It's a very good game to cast. Again, lots of back and forth, lots of things to look at. Again, we missed a couple things on the north side, and those mass points were still not rebuilt. But again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the comments, all the interactions. I just love it. It's just thank you so much. Again, continue to give me tips, improve my mic quality, video quality, cinematic quality, making the mini map bigger, just any and all things that you think would make a better experience for you and your fellow community members who just love FAF so much and want to see more and more casts. Thank you again so much for your eyeballs, for your time and your attention, and I will see you all in the next one.